The search for lost treasure has always captured the human imagination, but few artifacts have sparked as much fascination as Captain William Kidd's legendary treasure map. This enigmatic document, supposedly created by one of the most infamous pirates in history, has been the subject of intense searches and speculation for centuries, fueling the imaginations of treasure hunters and historians alike. But what is the truth behind this legend? And why, even after so much time, does this map continue to exert such a magnetic power over the minds of so many? William Kidd, born around 1654 in Scotland, had a life that seemed straight out of the pages of an adventure novel. Initially a respectable merchant marine captain, Kidd soon found himself entangled in a complex interplay of political and economic interests that would lead him to a career in piracy. His career, marked by dramatic twists and controversies, culminated in his execution in 1701, leaving behind not only a legacy of mystery, but also persistent rumors about a hidden treasure of legendary proportions. Kidd's treasure map, supposedly created during his final days of freedom, quickly became the holy grail for treasure hunters. Described as a parchment covered in cryptic symbols, enigmatic geographic markings, and coded clues, the map promised to lead its holder to unimaginable riches. But like many legends, the map's story is shrouded in layers of myth and reality, making it difficult to separate fact from fiction. The search for Kidd's treasure was not limited to solitary adventurers and dreamers. Over the centuries, well-funded and technologically advanced expeditions have been organized to unravel the mystery. From the coasts of New England to remote islands in the Caribbean and Indian Ocean, areas supposedly marked on the map were thoroughly searched. These often fruitless searches served to further fuel the myth, each failure only increasing the aura of the treasure's inaccessibility. One of the most intriguing aspects of the legend of Kidd's treasure map is how it intertwines with the history of piracy in the late 17th and early 18th centuries, a period known as the Golden Age of Piracy. At that time, the sea routes between Europe, the Americas, and the Indies were full of ships loaded with riches, making them tempting targets for audacious pirates. Kidd operated in a world where the lines between state-sanctioned piracy, privateers, and illegal piracy were often blurred, a suit that adds layers of complexity to his story and the authenticity of the supposed map. The map's legend gains even more mystery when we consider the historical context of Kidd's execution. In the moments before his death, rumors circulated that the captain had hidden not only physical treasure, but also compromising documents that could implicate powerful figures in English society in illegal activities. This theory has led some to speculate that the real treasure marked on the map could be potentially explosive information rather than gold and jewels. Over the years, several documents have emerged claiming to be Kidd's authentic treasure map. Each of these artifacts has been subjected to intense scrutiny by historians, cryptographers, and experts in ancient documents. Analysis of these supposed maps revealed a fascinating mix of authentic elements from the time and later fabrications, demonstrating how complex the task of verifying the authenticity of such a controversial historical document can be. One of the most curious aspects of Kidd's treasure hunt is how it has turned into an industry in its own right. Books, documentaries, and even reality shows have been produced, all promising new clues or theories about the location of the treasure. This phenomenon raises interesting questions about the nature of the human obsession with hidden riches and how legends like this can become profitable ventures, regardless of the actual discovery of any treasure. The persistence of the legend of Kidd's treasure map also leads us to reflect on the role of myth in history. Why do some stories, even without definitive proof, continue to capture our collective imagination? In Kidd's case, part of the answer may lie in the unique combination of elements in his story: a charismatic anti-hero, a treasure of mythical proportions, and an enigmatic map that promises untold riches to anyone cunning enough to decipher it. The search for Kidd's treasure has also had significant impacts on numerous communities around the world. Islands and coasts, supposedly marked on the map, have found themselves at the center of a modern gold rush, with treasure hunters from all corners of the globe converging in search of riches. This influx of seekers has not always been welcome, leading to conflicts with local populations and, in some cases, causing significant environmental damage due to uncontrolled excavation. One of the locations most associated with the legend of Kidd's treasure is Oak Island in Nova Scotia, Canada. This small island has become synonymous with treasure hunting, with countless expeditions over the past 2 centuries attempting to unlock its supposed secrets. The island's famous Money Pit, a complex underground structure discovered in the late 18th century, has long been associated with Kidd's treasure, although concrete evidence of this connection remains elusive. The story of Kidd's treasure map also offers us a fascinating window into the navigation and cartography practices of the late 17th century. Maps of the time were often a mixture of precise observations and fanciful speculation, reflecting the limits of geographic knowledge of the era. This reality adds an extra layer of complexity to the interpretation of any map supposedly created by Kidd, as the cartographic conventions of the time can appear confusing or inaccurate to modern eyes. An often overlooked aspect of the legend is the impact it had on the public perception of piracy. While the historical reality of piracy was often brutal and violent, Kidd's romantic quest for treasure contributed to a more idealized view of pirates in popular culture. This dichotomy between historical reality and romanticized legend is a recurring theme in how we interpret and retell events from the past. Modern science also played a role in the search for Kidd's treasure. Advanced underwater imaging technologies, soil analysis, and even artificial intelligence have been employed in an attempt to decipher the enigma. These high-tech approaches to a historical mystery raise interesting questions about how modern technology can be applied to solve riddles of the past, and what the ethical and practical limits of these quests are. One of the most intriguing aspects of the legend is how it intertwines with the narratives of other historical figures. For example, there are theories that link Kidd's treasure to other famous pirates, such as Blackbeard, or even secret organizations such as the Templars. These connections, while often speculative, demonstrate how historical legends can merge and evolve over time, creating increasingly complex and intriguing narratives. The story of Kidd's treasure map also leads us to consider the concept of treasure itself. In Kidd's day, value was often measured in gold, silver, and precious stones. However, for modern historians, the real treasure may be the historical information contained in any authentic document of the time. This shift in perspective makes us question what actually constitutes treasure in different historical and cultural contexts. The legend of the treasure map has also had a significant impact on literature and pop culture. From Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island to modern franchises like Pirates of the Caribbean, the idea of treasure maps and pirates searching for hidden riches has captured the imagination of generations. Kidd's story, in particular, has served as inspiration for countless works of fiction, demonstrating the enduring power of these historical narratives in shaping our cultural imagination. A fascinating aspect of the search for Kidd's treasure is how it has become a microcosm of changing attitudes toward historical and archaeological preservation. While early searches were often destructive, with little regard for the historical value of the sites explored, more recent approaches tend to emphasize preservation and scientific study. This evolution reflects broader changes in how we value and interact with historic heritage. The persistence of the Kidd treasure map legend also raises interesting questions about the nature of belief and historical evidence. Why do some people continue to believe in the existence of the treasure, despite the lack of concrete evidence? This phenomenon leads us to consider the roles that hope, imagination, and even cognitive denial play in how we interpret historical evidence and perpetuate legends. An often overlooked aspect of the story is the impact it had on local communities in the areas supposedly marked on the map. In some cases, the search for Kidd's treasure has led to economic development through tourism. In others, it has resulted in disputes over property rights and access to land. These unexpected consequences demonstrate how historical legends can have real and lasting impacts on the modern world. The legend of Kidd's treasure map also invites us to reflect on the concept of legacy. While Kidd probably imagined his legacy would be defined by his achievements as a navigator and privateer, ironically, it is the legend of the treasure that most endures. This leads us to question how our actions and subsequent interpretation of them can shape the way we are remembered in history. As we move into the future, it's likely that the search for Kidd's treasure will continue, though perhaps in ways we can't yet imagine. New technologies such as satellite mapping of the ocean floor or advanced DNA analysis techniques may offer new insights into this ancient mystery. However, regardless of whether a physical treasure is ever found, the true value of the legend of Kidd's treasure map may lie in its ability to continue inspiring our imagination and connecting us with the past. Ultimately, the story of Captain Kidd's treasure map is more than just a search for material riches. It is a narrative that intertwines history, myth, adventure, and the eternal human search for the unknown. It challenges us to question our perceptions about value, historical evidence, and the nature of truth. As the world continues to evolve, this legend is likely to continue to fascinate and intrigue, serving as a reminder of the enduring power of stories to capture our collective imagination. As we look to the future, it's tempting to speculate about the ultimate fate of the legend of Kidd's treasure map. Will we ever find conclusive evidence that proves or disproves the existence of the treasure? Or perhaps the true value of the legend lies not in its resolution, but in its persistence as an enigma that continues to challenge and inspire us. Regardless of the outcome, the search for Kidd's treasure teaches us valuable lessons about the nature of history, legend, and the human quest for knowledge and wealth. She reminds us that often the journey is as important as the destination, and that the stories we tell about our past have the power to shape our present and our future. As modern pirates, whether they are treasure hunters, historians, or simply dreamers, continue to search for Captain Kidd's legendary treasure map, we can be sure that this fascinating narrative will continue to evolve, inspiring new generations to explore the mysteries of the past and imagine the possibilities of the future. And who knows, perhaps one day when we least expect it, the veil of mystery will finally lift, revealing the long-hidden secrets of history's most famous treasure map.